What is going on out there, peeps? All right, I think I'm gonna take a different approach on my thoughts about cryptocurrencies. So, in my effort to, I said this many times before, the people that I really listen to the most when it comes to gold and silver are those individuals who tend to be like historians. You know what I mean? They talk about the patterns in the economy, and they equate things from what's going on in in, uh, in the world at the time with what's going on to the economy. I mean, all those types of things. So I've been trying to educate myself more on the history of not just gold and silver, but as far as how it's being manipulated, the people behind it, and stuff like that. But as I go along and I'm learning more about gold and silver and those involved with who is and why they're doing it, Bitcoin keeps popping up, and I'm starting to notice that Bitcoin might actually play a bigger role than I had thought myself. As a matter of fact, these two should not be enemies of one another. They should complement one another. I'll get into why that is here in a moment, and then I'm going to explain to you what I think our approach should be when it comes to Bitcoin and gold and silver and why. Speaking of, you should be buying gold and silver right now. In case you haven't noticed, the prices are still creeping up, even though the market is closed today. You can see now silver is up to 2660, and it's jumped up a pretty good amount since last Friday. And gold is creeping up there too, so it's not being talked about a lot. But I'm noticing that cryptocurrencies are kind of stagnant. Now, remember last time it was gold and silver were rising, rising, rising. Cryptocurrencies were kind of flat. Then all of a sudden, gold and silver went flat, and cryptocurrencies were rising, rising, rising. And then they had a dump, and then they've been kind of flat. Now gold and silver are rising. I did notice that trend. Anyways, yeah, I have a strategy. I'll share it with you, and then get your input on this. But if you're thinking about buying gold and silver, go to our friends over at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. First time buyers, if you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, Pimpy, and you'll get a free half ounce of silver. For those of you asking for my address, there it is. Just pause and write it down. And you guys know I have this alternative website over there. Again, the subject matters on the election and the coronavirus those are the videos that are watched the most. And so I'm glad I'm getting feedback from you, because then I know what territories to be focusing on when I get the videos in there, okay? Go support our friends over there at Wall Street Silver. They have a Reddit group as well as a YouTube page. The links are down below in the description. Go check them out. And you guys know I got Pimpy's Investment Chat, same name as the YouTube channel. Over here we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrency, as well as foreign currency investments. It's free to join. The link is down below. So I'll refresh here because I don't think the market's moving. It's closed, obviously. So where are we at? So gold and silver prices started moving last night, which is weird because today it's closed. But it did. You can see gold is now almost at 1800. It's not that far away. As a matter of fact, it was up closer to 1795. 1800 being a breakthrough level we got to watch for. But silver broke through its resistance level, which was, I think, 2645 or 2650. It just went right through it. Whoop. Now, I know you see the 10 cents there, but you don't understand where it was yesterday or the day before. So it moved up a nice chunk, like something like 40 cents. So very, very interesting. It could be because of Basel III. A lot of us are anticipating this. I told you that there would be some lag time and then it will start to take off. To where it's going, I don't know, but very interesting. So Basel III is now implemented over in Europe. It is now implemented here in the United States and will be in London the 1st of January. So we will keep an eye on that. Cryptocurrencies, on the other hand, we're going to go over an article that talks about the relationships between cryptocurrencies, gold and silver, and how if we as a group of people make the right choices together, you can literally defeat what they're trying to do. You'll see what I'm talking about here in just a moment. I'm always curious when I look at polka dot. Polka dot, yep, still up there with the X. Okay, we're going to get into that right now. So I was reading this interesting article. It says debt agents of the Foreign Federal Reserve. Again, this keeps popping up in all these different articles. No state shall make anything but gold and silver. So already they've been violating our Constitution. We've been allowing it to get away from us, but we can grab control, believe it or not. So let's talk about why they're being manipulated, gold and silver, and if there's a solution, which there is. It says the bullion prices are manipulated down in order to protect the value of the U.S. dollar. So you hear me talk about this. They do manipulate the price of gold and silver. Gold and silver is actually real money. Fiat's just a piece of crappy paper that only has value because we allow it to have value and we accepted the fact that it has a value. The day we lose confidence in that piece of crappy paper, that's the day when the markets crash. That's the day when gold or silver would take off. But what they're trying to do is quickly move into a new system that they'll never have this problem again. And they'll have control over you and your money. And there's nothing you could do about it if you accept what they're trying to do. And they're going to force you into it, trust me. But we do have a say-so. So anyways, it says to protect the U.S. dollar. And that's what they're doing, by the way, to cryptocurrencies. If people start having more faith in a cryptocurrency than the U.S. dollar, the cryptocurrencies themselves become a threat to the fiat dollar. But gold and Bitcoin are literally a 1-2 punch. So the prices of gold and silver are manipulated, especially gold, to protect the fake fiat dollar. But guess what? So is Bitcoin. Yep. So they want to protect the U.S. dollar from extraordinary increase in supply resulting from the Federal Reserve's quantitative easing and low interest rates. So see the way the market should go if it's not manipulated. So capitalism works as long as it's not manipulated capitalism, as long as capitalism is to work at its truest, purest form, it will work. But when you have people manipulating the capitalism, then is it truly capitalism? So what they do to protect the U.S. dollar is they increase the supply of money. But they don't just do it. Here's the thing that gets me. When I was talking about the Iraqi dinar, we learned that they have what's called a exchange rate stability. It's some kind of control the U.S. has over other countries. They have, and it's in writing too. I did it in a video. The United States somehow, some way, legally has the ability to not only manipulate our markets here in the United States, but markets in other countries. How the hell that is, I don't know. But the fact that any country, or the fact that that's needed, I was going to say the fact that any country allows that, or has that, or the fact that it's even being used at all, tells you that there's some really criminal people, we already know this, in charge. But at what level is what people don't know. So they can use the central banks around the world to manipulate our economies as well as the gold and silver market. And they do it and get away with it because the majority of people don't pay attention and don't have any idea how it's done. Because I think if every person knew this, this wouldn't be allowed to happen. That's how these people, and I say these because I hate calling them the elite. They're not elite. That's how these people continue to get away with the types of crimes that they've been pulling off for centuries. We give them the power to do certain things, policies and procedures and laws, because we make a bad assumption that they're going to be good people. And now they're so powerful that when we know they're not good people and they're corrupting, try to do something about it. They use the system to silence, remove, imprison, falsely attack, discredit any individual who dare stands up. That's why no one individual could do it on their own. It has to be together as a group. The Federal Reserve is able to protect the dollar's exchange value vis-a-vis the other reserve currencies, the yen, the euro, and the UK pound, by having those central banks also create money in profusion with the quantitative easing policies of their own. So in other words, we dictate to other central banks what they should be doing. Other countries should be pissed that their government is allowing the United States to have that kind of control over their banks and their economies. The impact of the fiat money creation on bullion, however, must be controlled by price suppression. Oh man, you have no idea how rich most of us would be if the true value in gold and silver were allowed to actually come to market. It is possible to suppress the price of gold and silver because bullion prices are established not in physical markets, but in future markets in which short selling does not have to be covered, and in which contracts are settled in cash, not in bullion. You see, that's the part we need to take away. The way it's going right now is they use unallocated accounts to manipulate the markets at the moment. But there's a Ponzi scheme going on, and many of us are getting educated on it. As we learn it, we have to start trying to do what we can to help educate other people. Because the more people who become aware of this, the more likely then the people will stand up and say enough is enough. But this stuff is boring to a lot of people. They don't want to take the time to learn this when they should. It's important. Hell, I thought this stuff was boring too until I started realizing how much it affects the things that I invested in. My money, taxes, the way I live, the way I'm going to be controlled in the future if I allow it. So the markets are able to suppress the true value of gold and silver. And they suppress it. It says because the bullion prices are established, not in physical, like I was saying, they're done through paper. Since gold and silver shorts can be naked, future contracts in gold and silver can be printed in profusion. Just as the Federal Reserve prints fiat currency in profusion, it dumps into futures market. In other words, as the bullion future market is a paper market, it is possible to create enormous quantities of paper gold that can suddenly be dumped in order to drive down prices. Every time gold starts to move up, enormous quantities of future contracts are suddenly dumped, and the gold price is driven down. The same for silver. This is why it's important to continue to buy not paper gold and silver, buy the physical gold and silver. One way to beat this is to continue to remove the actual physical metal off the market. They think by driving down the prices so low that you'll get scared, you'll panic, because in your mind you thinking you lost money, you'll sell the gold and silver, which is what they want you to do. But if you hold and continue to hold and stop paying attention to the price, and they start learning that we, the public, cannot be manipulated, we can grab control of this situation. But there's another piece of the puzzle that's going to help. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. So don't buy these ETFs. Don't buy into these pools of so-called gold and silver. Don't do it. Like I said, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. Period. So, by dumping future contracts, fake paper gold and silver onto the market, they manipulate the market. But here's the thing. If people stop buying the paper gold and silver and continue to buy the physical, the contracts are, you get them by the short fuzzies, if you get my drift. They have to honor these contracts for those individuals who demand payment in physical gold and silver. Now, the banks settle in fiat dollars, but that's amongst themselves. There are people out there who buy the actual gold and silver off the comics. If everybody took delivery at one time, we would literally crash their entire agenda. Now, the Silver Squeeze did a great job of bringing people together. And oh, we heard them bad. And we still to this day. You see, what they didn't tell us is silver, as far as supply is concerned, has been in deficit every year since 2004. Now, we heard since 2016. That's not the case. And what I mean by negative or deficit is this. It takes approximately 1 billion ounces of silver every year to cover the demand globally. So when the demand is higher than the available physical, it causes a deficit. There's been a deficit on silver since 2004. We were lied to. It's been exposed. This is why they do these things like drive the value of the silver down or suppress them, and people get frustrated by it. We hear that, hey, JP Morgan has been found as criminals and they've been manipulating the markets, and we get mad about it, and then all of a sudden they pay a fine and we're like, yeah, stick it to them. But the truth of the matter is it doesn't matter. They just do that to frustrate people, I believe, because JP Morgan continues to be the biggest player in gold and silver, including setting policies and manipulating the market. My guess is that they want to frustrate enough people who are buying gold and silver that you'll just give up and get out of gold and silver. Don't do that. Do not do that. Rigging the bullion price prevents gold and silver from transmitting to the currency market. The devaluation of the dollar that the Federal Reserve's money creation is causing. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If the markets were supposed to be able to respond naturally, then as they continue to print more of this fake fiat money, the value of gold and silver should be skyrocketing. But it's not. It's being held down. And because of that, it protects the dollar. Where we can stick it to them is fine. Let them do that. And they're using that money to give to the rich friends to buy and control more assets. So the one we want to grab is physical gold and silver. And we keep doing it. Just keep removing it. Because how are they going to move into the Green New Deal when they need these precious metals in order to do so? Now, sure, the government can outlaw it like they did before. They can make every excuse. They use the media to drum up some false flag event to try to get people to part with their precious metals. And don't say it's not beyond them to do that. It is. They do that kind of crap. But here's where the other piece of that puzzle, and I'm talking about Bitcoin, comes into play. And why Bitcoin and gold together as a team can actually play a very important role for all of us in taking back control of our money. So they rig gold and silver to keep it from devaluing the US dollar or other currencies when they know these currencies are crap. The fiat dollar is just crap. Keep exchanging whatever you have in discretionary funds. It doesn't make a difference what the prices go up to in gold and silver. Remember, there's fractional. Don't let that discourage you. Don't ever think that the value of gold and silver can get to a point where it's untouchable. You keep trying to find ways. Even you might not be able to get it every paycheck, but then maybe you need to save for 2 or 3 paychecks and then get some. Just keep doing what you can to pick up the precious metal. It is the ability to rig the bullion price that protects the dollar's value from being destroyed by the Federal Reserve printing press. So you can see here, this is basic fractional reserve banking cycle. You deposit 1,000 into the bank. They only have to hold 10%, which is this $100 right here. But they can loan out the $900. Loan one, they spend. At this point, there is $1,900 into the system. The bank only has 100 of it. Remember, banks are allowed to loan out, I do believe. Okay, never mind. So they're obligated to you for your 1,000, and they have outstanding this 900. That's where this comes from. Double dipping. Anyways, you can see how that works. So then that same $900 that this person got in a loan, deposits it into the bank. You keep 90. Do you see how this fractional works? Do you see how it breaks down? It starts off with one person, puts in 1,000. The bank only has to hold 100. They loan out $900. That person takes that $900 that they borrow. They put it into their bank. They only have to hold 90. They lend out 810, and the cycle continues all the way down. Yeah, this is an older article, but it makes sense. Two explanations suggest this. So it says right here, recently the price of Bitcoin had skyrocketed. It rose within a few weeks from $1,000 to $2,200. I know you guys are thinking, oh man, how old is this article? But not that. Wouldn't you love to have Bitcoin at that price? But no, focus on what the article is trying to teach you, not the price. So at this time, Bitcoin had made a tremendous jump. Within a few weeks, it more than doubled in value. So here's the explanations. There are two. One is the Federal Reserve has decided to rid itself of a competing currency and is driving up the price with purchases while accumulating large positions, which then will be suddenly dumped in order to crash the market and scare away potential users from Bitcoins. Yes, we see that happening today. They do that to anything that is a threat to the fiat dollar. See, I told you it can be manipulated. We know this, just like gold and silver. Remember, the Fed can create all the money it wishes and thereby doesn't have to worry about losses. Well, if you print out a bunch of fake money like the fiat dollar, there's no limit, so there's no risk involved because we allow the Federal Reserve to do this. Since there's no risk for them, they don't care about how they go about manipulating the markets or any types of loss that they occur because it's not a loss. They're losing nothing. Their job is to protect the fiat dollar at all costs, at least until we get into the digital version of it. Then there's nothing we can do, period. That's why we got to stay out of it. Here's the other part that I like. So in example number one, the Federal Reserve is buying, they're the whales on cryptocurrencies. They use Bitcoin, which is a threat to the fiat dollar. They use Bitcoin the same way they do gold and silver. Allow the prices to get to a certain point and then crash it down really hard. People go, oh my God, I lost a lot of money. And then they feel discouraged and they go away from that system. So ask yourself, why the hell are they trying to keep people? Why are they scaring them from this? Because it's a threat. Like gold and silver, Bitcoin is a threat. And we can control that threat. Here's how. Another explanation is that people's concern about the fiat currencies, but frustrated in their attempts to take refuge in bullion, which is gold and silver, have recognized that the supplies of Bitcoin is fixed and Bitcoin futures must be covered. It is strictly impossible for any central bank to increase the supply of Bitcoins. Thus, Bitcoin is standing in for the suppressed functions of gold and silver. Hey? Hey? Get it? Here's where Bitcoin and gold can complement one another. The real money is gold and silver. Period. Bitcoin is an escape like gold and silver from the fiat dollar, but it's limited. You see, unlike the fake gold and silver paper that they dump on the market to control the value of gold and silver, Bitcoin only has X amount of Bitcoins. Now, having said that, the one area where this can change is happening now. If you start allowing, and they're doing it both with Bitcoin and Ethereum, JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs are selling what? Derivatives, futures contracts on Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is how they're going to control it. The same way they do with gold and silver. But wait, there's a way to beat it. We'll get into that in a second. So, since Bitcoin is limited, they are a complement to gold and silver. Gold and silver is the real money, but Bitcoin, like gold and silver, is a threat to the fiat dollar. The great thing about Bitcoin is it's limited to the amount of Bitcoin that's out there. So you can manipulate it, but because it's limited, we can actually fight against manipulation. Again, I'll get into that here in a minute. The problem with cryptocurrencies, here's the other problem, and here's something that's got to change. The problem with cryptocurrencies is that whereas Bitcoin cannot increase in supply, other cryptocurrencies can be created. In order to be trusted, each cryptocurrency would have to have a limited supply. However, an endless number of cryptocurrencies can be created that would greatly increase the supply of cryptocurrencies. If entrepreneurs don't bring about this result, the Federal Reserve itself could organize it. So sure, you might put a limit on the amount of Bitcoin, the amount of Ethereum. That only affects the Bitcoin and the Ethereum. But if you're allowed to create unlimited amount of cryptocurrencies, then that's the same as just doing quantitative easing, and you just keep printing more and more cryptocurrencies, and they get on the market, and everybody gets these promises to get rich off it, like Dogecoin, SafeMoon, crap like that. It affects our ability to continue to grab control, like we're doing, of our own money. So the key to doing it is, one, stop creating different cryptocurrencies. Limit the amount of cryptocurrencies that are out there. Don't confuse them with blockchain, because a lot of these have different blockchain technologies that could be useful. We're talking about the actual cryptocurrency itself, the tokens. If everybody stops investing in all of these different cryptocurrencies, everybody has their favorite, but there's 65, is that right? There's more than that. I don't know how many is out there. But just on this chart alone, 380 different ones that people are invested in. If you really want to affect what they're trying to do and stop the manipulation and grab control of our money, stop buying the other cryptocurrencies, focus on something like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Yeah, if I left your favorites out there, sorry, I'm trying to make a point. Let's just say if everybody sold their cryptocurrencies or converted them strictly into Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, sure, the Federal Reserve has unlimited money. And they can buy a ton of Bitcoin and Ethereum. But in order for them to manipulate the market, they have to dump contracts. If they dump contracts, they have to be able to fill the contracts. So when they fill them and they put the actual physical, well, it's not physical, but the actual Bitcoin out on the market, if we turn around and we buy it up, fractions of it even if it's not a full Bitcoin, we all buy up the Bitcoin and Ethereum as they become available. The same with gold and silver as it becomes available. And we keep buying it. I'm talking about the public. It prevents them from controlling it because they'll have less and less as time goes on. And their ability to discourage us from investing into these things that we know are weapons against this manipulated market, weapons against their fake fiat dollars. The more we buy, the more we control. The more we control, the less they control. The less they control, the less they can control our monies. Sure, they're going to create the digital dollar, but here's the difference between Bitcoin and that central bank digital dollar. Just like they're doing to the fake fiat dollar, they will have the ability to create as many of those fake tokens as they want. That's giving them unlimited power. Our government will be able to buy whatever the hell they want. The more power they get, the more they control us. The more they control us, the more they tell us what we can and can't do and enslave us. So I support the cryptocurrencies. And now I see how the two complement one another. So if you want to diversify, the smart thing is to buy gold, silver, and Bitcoin and Ethereum and nothing else. I don't care how much you see a crypto running. That's just it. They trick you. They go, hey, look at this hand. Not this one. Look over here in the right hand. No, stop looking at the left hand. Look at the right hand. Hey, look up here. That's what magicians do. They flash you around, the lights focus on the one hand, but you don't see what's going on with the other hand. The other hand is the trick. So when you see them driving up cryptocurrencies, it tempts you. It tempts you to go off track. And that's how they get you. That's how come we never can grab control of our own money. Is because we're easily tempted and we get distracted, squirrel, and you get going. No, make a plan, stick to it. The silver squeeze plan was good. The first time we could have done it had people said in the beginning, buy physical metals only. Not paper. You want to take control of the actual physical metal. Take it off the market because that's what they really want. They use the paper to manipulate the price. If all of us dumped the paper and bought the physical, they'd be screwed because they've been dumping contracts and selling contracts 100, 600 times more than they actually have to pay with. Physical, I'm talking about precious metals. Now that they changed it around saying, well, then if they don't have the metals, they can just pay you in that crappy fiat currency as a settlement. But they're smart enough to understand the importance of gold and silver. If we keep buying it and we stop falling for their tricks, stop getting distracted and stick to the plan, pretty soon they're going to let the markets flow the right way. They can't manipulate them. How can you sell shorts or contracts on a physical market when all of a sudden the actual physical inventory is gone? Then we control the value of the precious metals. The same thing with Bitcoin. That's the difference between the cryptocurrency Bitcoin again and the central bank digital dollar. On the digital dollar, they will be able to make unlimited amounts, which is exactly what they're doing now. And they will buy up our assets, our homes, our lands, our farmlands, any tangible asset they'll buy. Resources from around the world, they will control it. This will be in the Great Reset. Remember, you won't own anything. You'll rent everything and you'll be happy. The only way you're going to be able to stop that is take control now. Keep buying gold, silver, and yes, cryptocurrencies, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. Diversify. And just like I said, when it comes to gold and silver, even if they drop that damn value down to $1 each, do not sell. The same I'm going to say for Ethereum and Bitcoin. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the news. Don't let them scare you out of investing into those under any circumstances. Even the threat of outlawing or making it illegal to own gold, silver, and cryptocurrencies, no matter what, hold on to them. Transfer them off the internet, you guys. Buy nano ledgers, because if you don't physically hold it, you don't own it. So you want to physically hold your Bitcoin and your Ethereum. Take it off the damn internet. Put it in your nano ledger. For those of you, and everybody has their own versions of this. Everybody's got their own favorite. I get it. See this? It looks like a little thumb drive. You can see the cost. I don't care if you have 2 or 1,000 Bitcoins. I don't care if you have 1 or 1,000 Ethereums. Take them off the market. And also, get out of XRP. Your grand illusions of getting rich off it is only helping them. I just did a video last night showing you guys that XRP is the chosen cryptocurrency of the New World Order. They are going to use XRP. And for people to go, yeah, see, my token, yay. Wait, the whole purpose of cryptocurrencies was to get out of the control of these people. Why would you celebrate them taking control of your cryptocurrency? You want to get even with them? Don't buy into it. Don't support what they want to do. Don't support XRP. Don't support the digital dollar from the central banks. Buy gold, silver. Buy Bitcoin and Ethereum. Take them off the physical market. Take it off the market. Just like you hold gold and silver, do the same thing with Bitcoin and Ethereum. I don't care what people say, no other ones. Those two are limited. If we use this system amongst ourselves and ignore theirs, theirs will collapse. So just like they're doing, they take those crappy, no good, worthless piece of papers known as fiat dollars and they buy real assets with it. You do the same. Don't trust keeping your money in a bank. They're going to do a bail-in. Hold it in precious metals. Buy some Bitcoin. Buy some Ethereum. Get a nano ledger. Take it off the internet. So if they try to remove it or they ban the platforms, you still have your cryptocurrencies. Because if enough people do this and they rise up and raise hell, force the governments to allow Bitcoin and Ethereum, you'll still have yours. If they try to outlaw gold and silver, we rise up and raise hell. We, the people, decide. So, yeah, I changed my mind. Although, again, the very fears that I have about cryptocurrencies are real. They can be successful. Just like I have the faith in gold and silver and the people in it who invest in it, that we will grab control. The markets will eventually be free. But we want to control our own money, which is gold and silver. We can do the same with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Get out of the other cryptos, convert them over to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Whatever breakdown you're going to do, so I'm going to do, this is hard to say, but so I'm going to start taking 10% of my earnings and splitting them between Bitcoin and Ethereum. The rest obviously go into gold and silver. I have a nano ledger. I've been sitting on it. That's what I'm going to start doing. Every time I buy, take it immediately off the market. Because if you don't have it, you don't own it. Does that make sense? So you guys think about this. Is if everybody from around the world does that, we take, remember, Ethereum and Bitcoin are limited to the amount of tokens. That's how they complement gold. Where gold's paper market manipulates the price of gold and silver. And yes, I realize now that JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs are doing the same thing with Bitcoin and Ethereum. How you beat that is not to buy the paper contracts, not to buy the shares in them companies. Buy the actual token itself. Buy the actual gold and silver itself. Don't get into the derivatives. Don't get into that quick, rich scheme. Our goal as a group is to take back control of our money and take away the powers of the evil bankers, remember? Dump your XRP. Dump all of your cryptocurrencies. This is just my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor, but if you really want to grab control again, and if you're tired of these so-called evil bankers, these elite, the New World Order, the globalists, the new Illuminati, whatever the hell you want to call, the black hats, whatever you want to call them, beat them at their own game. They buy the actual physical gold and silver. The central banks are buying the tokens. And they know to dump them on the market to drive the values down. And when they dump it on the market, in exchange for selling their tokens, they get the fiat dollar that they know ain't worth crap, but it takes it out of your hands. So if you don't panic and you hold, eventually they can't keep dumping them on the market because there's a limited amount of cryptocurrencies. And since cryptocurrencies are a threat to the fiat dollar, and we actually grab control by buying them up, how we protect gold and silver is you start using the Bitcoin as the new monetary system that they can't control. It will free up the market on gold and silver because you could turn around and use gold and silver to back Bitcoin and Ethereum. It would be true money. See where I'm going with this? It only works if everybody buys in and moves in the same direction. So like this says, the problem with cryptocurrencies is you can create as many cryptocurrencies as you want. Everybody wants to get lucky and buy that cryptocurrency like the Dogecoin. When there's like 0.000001, and then all of a sudden is where it is. Yeah, a lot of people got rich. But don't you understand that's how you get suckered into staying off course? How you get suckered into going off plan? I know people are like, well, what happens if I just do $10? $10 doesn't hurt. Yeah, it does. Because if everybody starts doing $10 and you add it all together, that's that much more Bitcoin, Ethereum, gold, and silver that could have been taken off the market instead of being invested into something that we know is going to distract us. I get it. Everybody's out there, well, I don't have a lot of money. If I have a way to get quick rich, I'm going to do it. I get it. That's how they have us. Don't you get it? They know this. They'll artificially pump up one area more than the other just to get you to get off plan. But if we stay the course and we hold and we don't sell, we win. So it says, however, an endless number of cryptocurrencies could be created that would greatly increase the supply of cryptocurrencies. If entrepreneurs don't bring about this result, the Federal Reserve itself will organize it. In other words, if entrepreneurs, in other words, these people creating cryptocurrencies, if they don't stop doing that and doing what I'm suggesting, which is just stick to 2 cryptocurrencies, forget the rest, just let them die. What it's saying here is this: if we don't create all the different cryptocurrencies, okay, let me word it this way. If everybody said, you know what, Pimpy, we agree with you. Everybody that owns cryptocurrency said, we agree with Pimpy, let's do it. You convert into Bitcoin and Ethereum. It drives the value up. We take control because we buy more of the tokens. We control more of the tokens. And every time they come on the market, you just keep buying them. Well, that causes the other tokens to crash. Nobody's investing in them. There's no finance there. So what it's saying here is, if people don't keep creating different types of cryptocurrencies and increasing the cryptocurrency volume or supply, then the Federal Reserve will just create fictitious companies, go in there and they'll create a ton of different cryptocurrencies themselves. and help dilute the cryptocurrency market, driving down the values of Bitcoin and Ethereum. But you see, that only works if people buy into those new cryptocurrencies that the Federal Reserve creates. See, this is how they know they got us. They create and dilute the market by creating several different types of cryptocurrencies. Saturates the market. See, this go, it's a currency. Doesn't make a difference how many is out there. They're a currency. And so they each affect the value of each other when the market is saturated with them and people spread their money throughout all the different cryptocurrencies. Don't do that. If you focus on just two cryptocurrencies and bought nothing else, their plan doesn't work. They can create unlimited amount of cryptocurrencies, but if nobody's buying them or investing into them, then what good are they? They have no functionality because nobody uses them. They could try to force you into them, just like they're going to do with the central bank digital dollar. That doesn't mean you have to comply. See where I'm going with this? Pick two cryptocurrencies. I'm just making a suggestion. I think it's the right ones. I know everybody has their favorite out there and they think they're going to get rich and the XRP is going to run to the moon, blah, blah, blah. But ask yourself, if the central banks around the world and the New World Order, because Brad Garlinghouse himself said the SWIFT 2.0 is the XRP, and they will do whatever it takes to work with the New World Order. You saw that video. So why would you support it? It's like you go out there and you say, I'm against abortion. But then Planned Parenthood is selling something that's a collectible. And it can accumulate a lot of money if everybody buys it. So you turn around and buy it. Let's call it a baby widget. Hey, baby widgets you could buy for 5 cents right now, but there's only so many of them. And in baby widgets, they artificially tell you are going up in value. So you're like, well, what are you doing with the money when I spend the money to buy the baby widget? Well, we use that money for abortions. But you're against abortions. But you go, you know what? I'm trying to make some money. I don't have a lot of money. And baby widgets right now are going up in value really quick. Yeah, so screw it. I'll buy the baby widget, even though you know your money is being used to murder little babies. See, you compromise your values. If you're going to run around and talk about how evil the bankers are, then don't support their system. And they're going to use every method possible to manipulate you or get you to do what they want. They'll entice you with the cryptocurrency that's moving more than others. They'll drive down the values of the cryptocurrencies that you love, or the gold and silver that you love. They'll tell you that there's a new type of metal over here. I'm just using this as an example. So that is my goal, and I think if everybody stuck to it, and this is around the world, because people all hear these videos from around the world. If you get more people to listen to what I'm talking about and you guys agree, then we should do that. Stay focused. Gold, silver, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Yes, I know you guys have your own favorites, and you guys are like, yeah, XRP is going to make me a millionaire. But you're supporting their system, and yes, you might make some money, and people have. But that's like becoming rich to sell your values. And although you think you're rich now, just keep in mind, if they allowed you to get rich, then their goal is to take that money from you eventually, one way or another. And the system that they're going to use to take your money from you, you allowed because you ran over and was distracted because you wanted to get rich real quick, going in the wrong direction. Does that make sense? If we stick to our guns, gold, silver, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and nothing else, we eventually grab control of the system. We don't have to use their system. We would have something outside of the system. Eventually, somebody's going to create a technology that the government cannot control on a platform that cannot be controlled. And then somebody will build that blockchain or transfer that blockchain over to where it might be outlawed now that you can't use cryptocurrencies or you can't use Bitcoin and Ethereum. But since you have your nano ledger and your coins are on them, once the new platform's up, you could transfer your coins over there and nobody could stop it. And that's the system that you use. A free and open free market, period. Yeah, this all sounds like a pain in the ass and it's a war. It'll be a battle of nutrition, trust me that. Gold, silver, Bitcoin, Ethereum, nothing else. Watch. The more people that buy into that, and I don't care how much you see one crypto go from this to that, don't fall for that, because any penny you spend on another crypto delays or prolongs our goal. Because once one person does it, then other people do it. And the more people that get off the proper path on us coming together and grabbing back control, the more people to get off path, the harder it is to do it. Now, I get it. You guys have your own favorite cryptocurrencies and you're going to put us by, no, let's do it with this one. No, let's do, no. Ethereum has the most projects, has the most use cases. Bitcoin has the support of a lot of hedge funds and rich people that, sure, they might use it to manipulate us, but the more we remove off the market, the more it becomes a threat to whatever, whether it's the fiat dollar or whatever new system they have. We don't have to comply. You don't have to agree to it. Even when they force you into it, we can continue to be outside of the system with gold and silver. And then once the new platform is up that can't be touched, we can use the cryptocurrencies if they go that route. So, if the entrepreneurs don't create a multitude of different cryptocurrencies, having everybody run in there for a quick rich scheme, if they don't do it, then Federal Reserve will create a bunch of them to dilute the value of the cryptocurrencies. Again, it's only successful if people buy into them. If you just stick to the two and nothing else, then their plan doesn't work. Therefore, cryptocurrencies might be only a temporary refuge from fiat money creation. This would leave gold and silver, whose supply can only gradually be increased via mining, as the only refuge from wealth-destroying fiat money creation. So, like they say here, cryptocurrencies might be a temporary refuge from the fiat dollar. I think it could be one of the permanent ones if we could get a system that cannot be touched, turned off, manipulated, or controlled by the powers that be. For as long as the Federal Reserve can protect the dollar by bullion price suppression, as well as cryptocurrencies, and money creation by other reserve currencies. So what they do is they protect the dollar by also forcing other countries and other central banks to create more of their currencies, like the yen, the euro. So see, all these people around the world, they're in the cahoots together. Or else, why the hell would we allow our governments to do this? Why the hell are you people over there in London, the UK, Spain, Australia, New Zealand, Canada? Why are you guys allowing the US to force your central banks to create more money? And they just go, oh, yeah, you're careless, you're evil if you don't let us create more money to help the poor. Don't fall for that crap. Open up the damn economy is what you do. But the fact that our country dictates to your country what they could do with their currencies, yeah, so help fight. Start picking better political candidates. Start demanding that they do something for transparency with our elections so they stop, nefarious things. So as you can see, look at gold, silver, Bitcoin, Ethereum. They can work as partners. They can make a difference if people just focus their energy on that plan. Don't get distracted. Don't get outside those parameters. I think it would be really, really easier for us to quickly grab control of our own money system and dictate our own policies. I know it sounds crazy, but it'll work. So instead of gold and silver fighting cryptocurrencies or cryptocurrencies fighting gold and silver, as a team, it would work. What is that old saying? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Who's the enemy? The central bank and a fiat dollar. Who's gold and silver been fighting? Cryptocurrencies as well as the fiat dollar. Cryptocurrency has been fighting the fiat dollar as well as gold and silver. But if the enemy of my enemy is now my friend and we team up, we can defeat the dollar. You let me know what you think. All right, you guys, go ahead and chime in, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it does help out the channel, and I truly do appreciate it. That's it for now. I'm out.